You now, yes, it does look rather quiet behind you now, but we are seeing intermittent protests this morning.
Of course. Well, I mean, in the morning when we arrived here, we found, let me just put it this way, about 2 ambulances that were, the emergency services were treating the security staff inside there. About 4 security guards got injured in what is understood to be a scuffle between the security guards and the students early this morning. But we understand that some of the students as well got injured during that scuffle. And as I'm speaking right now, up to the point where we are, workers, the students were protesting, but of course far away from this great hall where you can see a very tight security behind us, as well as far from the gates where the boom gates have been cordoned off with the security guards. So as I'm speaking right now, I'm standing with Shirona Patel. She's the Wits University spokesperson, just to give us an update of what's going on right now as far as the management is concerned. Shirona, thanks so much for your time indeed. Could you please give us an update of what's the situation at this point in time?
Okay, so this morning we did have about 20 students who were occupying the ground floor of Senate House. They were removed. They were asked last night to please leave the building. They did not do so, and security then removed them this morning. As you indicated, a scuffle did break out. We do have reports of 4 injuries to security staff. We have not yet had reports, aside from social media, about injured students. It is unfortunate that the scuffle endured, but it was the only way that the students could be moved out of the building.
But why that particular force to remove the students out of the Senate House? Is this why, what the management has actually given to the security guards here to practice?
The security guards were brought in specifically to move the students from there. The students are still allowed to be on campus. However, they're not allowed to occupy that particular space, just because yesterday did infringe on the registration process. So we do not have any problem with a student protest. However, when it does infringe on the rights of those who want to work and learn, then it does become a bit problematic. However, at this stage, we are still ongoing with online registrations and telephonic registrations, and we are asking engineering students who were meant to register today to do so online.
Just going back to this morning's incident, just take us through this. Some of the students are telling us that they were allegedly sexually assaulted by the security guards when they were taking them out of the building. Has that reached to the management office so far?
We have seen those allegations on social media. We are reviewing the footage and the coverage of this morning's incidents. At this stage, we have not picked up any forms of sexual intimidation or sexual harassment or assault. However, we're encouraging even the students who were removed, if they do have any complaints, if they could please lay such complaints with the legal office so that they can be fully investigated.
Could you just remind us about the payment arrangements, more especially for students who are on NSFAS as well as those who are not on NSFAS?
Okay, so the 2 things that the university has done this year, and this follows the Fees Must Fall movement's initiative last year, was that in December it was agreed that the upfront fee and the registration fee will be no more, that the first installment, which is normally due at the end of January, will now be moved to the end of March 2016. However, if students still cannot afford to pay in March, they will then be asked to sign an acknowledgement of debt or to work out a payment plan with the university in order to pay off their loans. The second thing that has happened in terms of historical debt is that the minister announced that for all students on NSFAS in 2015, that their historical debt will be erased. However, this still leaves a group before 2015. Some of them who may have historical debt. This, in terms of Wits, amounts to over 110 million rand, and this is not money that we have at the moment.
Obviously, as we're speaking right now, the protest Fees Must Fall campaign is gaining momentum. How worried are you about this, and what are you doing about it?
Okay, so we do support the students in their quest for access to free, quality higher education. The problem is that Wits cannot, on its own, go forward with that. We don't have the resources to do that. However, we are very willing to stand with the students and to make a case to both the public and the private sectors and others to better adequately fund higher education and to create more access and more opportunities for school leavers.
Just finally, yesterday we saw registration process being disrupted by the protest. Today, of course, there is no walk-in registration taking place today. So what's going to happen from here? What's going to happen to those students that are first years who want to register?
At this stage, we are encouraging online registration and telephonic registration. We were planning to open tomorrow for face-to-face registration. However, we will monitor the situation. If anything does change, we will then alert parents, applicants, students, and others via both our website, the media, and emails if we do then go online or telephonic. At this stage, face-to-face registrations are due to take place tomorrow. If this changes, we will keep the public informed.
Shirona, thanks so much for your time. That was Shirona Patel, Wits University spokesperson. But with me on the opposite side is the SRC Secretary General Fasiha Hassan. Thanks so much indeed for joining us, Fasiha rather.
Thank you.
What's going on at this point in time at the SRC office?
Well, basically, we've got a few things that are happening right now. We're actually still amidst academic exclusions. Students are still coming to us for assistance, but at the same time, we've also got the Fees Must Fall movement. And as we know, earlier this morning, students were violently removed from Solomon House. Now, when they were approached, there was some form of a letter, but it was nothing formal, it was nothing signed, there was no sort of legal element to the document. Students were then physically and violently removed from Solomon House, just behind the Great Hall. And there were issues of sexual assault. The manner in which some of our women comrades were moved, the way they were searched, was violating. And it was very humiliating. So that's one of the first issues. And also what it is evidence on behalf of the University of Bad Faith. We've said that our demands, we're in the process still of those discussions, but to be physically removed is a problem. But let me really talk about this issue now of registration and the shutting down and that kind of thing. Yes, we are calling for free and quality education. Under that call, we are saying that all 2015 outstanding debt, historic student debt, needs to be cleared. Now, if someone has outstanding debt, they're not allowed to register at this university, any university actually in the country. They are financially excluded. And we are saying that's one of the huge barriers to entry. And we acknowledge that government has availed, I think it's 2.6 billion rand. That's great. But that's only for NSFAS students. And at Wits University, NSFAS students make up maybe 10% of the population. It's a minority. At the end of the day, the majority of students are still going to be left out in the cold. The other issue is also what we call the missing middle. These are students who perhaps too rich for NSFAS, that's not the right wording, but they're just above the NSFAS means test, right? But they don't have enough money to fund themselves either. So they got caught in this crack. And they are the ones we are most worried about. They are the people who are not going to qualify for bursaries, for NSFAS, for other student funding. They're just going to continue with student debt as we go along. But really around registration, that's our second demand. What are we saying when we mean free registration? Every student that is academically qualifying and has a place at this university must not be turned away from registration. Now, we know the university has a payment plan. But at the end of the day, if you are